I want you guys to know you gotta let go of that past expectation of you and get started, because the brand new you is coming in 2022, guys. So I'm super excited. We got the GOAT. We have the C25 loading. My man with the plan. My man Cruiser, the creator. If you're here, Cruiser, I'm gonna go ahead and make you co-host. You can go ahead and take over this call.
Yo, what's good? Can you hear me good? Perfect. How's everybody doing on the call? First of all, guys, I want to give credit back to where credit is due. Shout out to Jess. You guys already know that she has the most contagious energy in all of Life by Design, and she is up next when it comes to hitting Chairman 10, guys. So let's drop some C10s in the chat for Jess for opening up the call. Appreciate you. Love you. Thank you for opening up the call. And guys, most of y'all probably know me. If you guys do not, my name is Matthew Cruz, 26-year-old entrepreneur from Seattle, Washington, live in Miami, Florida. I'm a Chairman 10, very close to Chairman 25. And today we're going to be talking about letting go. And so we have a lot of information that we're going to go over in a short period of time. And so I'm going to jump right into the information. I will tell you guys this. I have been, one second, guys. Let me mute everybody. I joined this industry when I was 19 years old. I just turned 26. And I've been doing personal development every single day, reading a good book, listening to good audio, at least 15 minutes, 30 minutes a day, every single day for the last 7 years. And over the last handful of months, I came across some of the most powerful information that I have ever seen, and it has transformed the way that I think. And I believe that I'm going to be giving you guys, I've through Zoom, through big events, through local events, I've definitely spoken in front of tens of thousands of people and done a lot of different trainings, but I'm telling you guys that I believe that this could be the most powerful mindset training that I ever do. So what you want to do is definitely take notes, and I'm excited for you guys, because if you apply this information, it's going to be a next level. It's going to take you to the next level. So give me 1 second, family. Give me 1 second. All right, perfect. So let's jump right into the information. So success is less about becoming, success is more about unbecoming. We always talk about raising your vibration, right? We always talk about the law of attraction, right? You attract what you are, who you are, whatever you think about most. Nothing in life is a coincidence. Everything happens for a reason. You are where you are today, 100% due to your past ways of thinking. Everything is energy, and all energy attracts its equal. And we always talk about raising your vibration so that you could attract whatever you want. But honestly, I don't like the word raising your vibration, because that implies that we don't naturally already have a high vibration. And the truth is every single one of us are already operating at a high frequency. That is our natural self. That is our real self. But the problem is every single one of us has had traumatic experiences, has had, certain things happen to us in the past that we have not let go of, and it's affecting how we live today. So if we're able to let go of the past, if we're able to let go of negative emotions, if we're able to forgive and forget, guess what? Automatically, we're going to go from here to here. That's why I say success is less about becoming and it is more about unbecoming. If you guys are with me so far, drop a 777 in the chat. Let me explain more. There's normal, the way that most people in society live, and then there's natural, the way you were born, the real you. Most people are unhealthy. Most people are most people have limiting beliefs. They're living in lack and limitation. Most people are unhappy. Most people are living most of their life in fear. They're spending 70 to 80% of their time thinking about negative stuff in the past, right? Or scared about what's going to take place in the future. That's normal. But guess what? It's not natural. That's not the way when you were born most likely in perfect health. You were born abundant. You didn't have any limiting beliefs, right? There was nothing. You believed that you could happy or do anything that you wanted, right? You're already naturally happy. You're as a kid, you're living in the present moment. You're operating from a frequency of love. This is the real you. But like I said, there are just some things that may have happened to you in the past that you have to let go of in order for you to return to that natural state. So people say, fake it till you make it. If you guys have heard fake it till you make it, drop a 111 in the chat. Let's say that you're not very confident right now. If you're faking confidence, that implies that you are not confident. That implies that you are separate from confidence. And what happens is you'll feel fake. That's why I believe imposter syndrome is, right? You're getting all these results, but you feel like people are going to find you out, the real you. What if the you that you've been being, the limited you, the negative you, the fearful you that you've been being all along is actually the fake you? But you've been being fake and acting fake for so long that you forgot who you really were. That's why I say, no. Don't fake it till you make it. Act real until you remember who you are. There's 3 places that people get their value. There's 3 places that people get their self-worth. There's 3 places that people get their happiness, and it comes from having, doing, and being. 95% of people are operating in the lower states of consciousness, which is the having and the doing. Let's talk about having. The amount of money that I have is what counts. How much approval that I get from society is what counts. How much success I have determines my value. And there's nothing wrong with having those things. What's wrong is if you allow those things to determine your self-worth, because those things can be taken away. Then there's the doing. Maybe you have your basic needs met, and what you have doesn't matter so much. What you have, maybe you're trying to, you get tired of, just trying to accumulate stuff, and you realize that that's not going to really bring you that core happiness that you're looking for. So you move on to doing. So at this point in time, how much work that you put in defines your value. And don't get me wrong, having a work ethic is amazing. But let me give you my experience. There was a point in time where I was grinding my face off more than probably every single person on this call. And here's the thing, working is great. But what most people think is, let's say that, let's just say that, you're a depressed person, or you are somebody who, is living in, just living in these negative emotions, and you think you could distract yourself from work. But the moment that you stop putting in the work, guess what? Right back to that version of yourself. I'll give you another example. There was a point in time where I was, like I said, working really, really, really hard. And I was working so hard to the point that I was, not really sleeping, right? Not eating correctly. And literally, I eventually broke down and had a panic attack. That's what will happen if you get your value from doing. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with having stuff. I love stuff. I love having stuff, but it doesn't determine my value. It doesn't determine my self-worth. It doesn't determine who it is that I am. Same thing with doing. You should have an amazing work ethic, but that doesn't define who it is that you are. And then there's the being paradigm, right? Where it's like, I'm good enough. Why? Just because. And it can't be attached to anything conditionally, anything outside of your control, because guess what? You can't control anything that's outside of your control. And I think that every one of us can relate to this, because every single one of us has probably been broke, but happy at the same time, or broke, but, grateful, or broke. But we see people who are broke and still confident, right? And vice versa. You see some of the wealthiest people in the world who, guess what, are miserable. And don't get me wrong. You want to be both. You want to be happy and rich. You want to be confident and wealthy. Don't get me wrong. But the point that I'm trying to prove is that it's not situational. It has to be something that's unconditional. It's that being mindset. That's where people who are operating on a higher frequency are operating. It's that being paradigm. Happiness is not the finish line. It's the starting point. What a quote. You could also say certainty. You could also say confidence is not the finish line. It's the starting point. Peace is not the finish line. It's the starting point. Abundance is not the finish line. It's the starting point. There's causing effect. There's cause and effect, and then there's causing and effect. Cause and effect is waiting for something outside of you to change how you feel on the inside. Oh, once I hit chairman 10, then I'm going to be happy. Let me tell you what, wherever you go, there you are. That's a very powerful quote. Write this down. Wherever you go, there you are. I can give you my back office today, but that's not going to change your self-image. That's not going to change how you feel about yourself as a person. And then there's causing an effect, changing how you think and feel now, being happy first, being confident now, operating on a high frequency now. And by doing that, you start to change your circumstances. So guys, there are 3 strategies to raise your self-esteem, to raise your vibration, to create that core self-confidence. So number 1 is bringing people down to your level. This is the worst strategy. I'm going to give you guys a visual here in a second. Number 2 is enhancing yourself to reaching the next level. I was operating in this paradigm for years. And then there's number 3, I'm good enough. Why? Like I said, just because. You think happiness, confidence, peace, abundance, chairman 10, 6 figures trading, what you want is up here and that you're down here. And if you bring people down to your level, guess what? You're still down here. You know what I'm saying? So that doesn't work, right? You can't just bring people down to your level. But on the opposite side is if you're trying to enhance yourself, guess what? What happens is it doesn't matter how good you get if it's coming from the paradigm of not good enough. What makes you think that if your results change, that's going to change how you feel about yourself? It's not. It doesn't matter how good you get if it's coming from the paradigm, if it's coming from the mindset of not enough, if that you're down here, if you're separate from what it is that you want. On top of that, success is a moving target. You never actually get there. So it's like it moves like this. As you start to level up, enhance yourself, that target will run away from you. So what if, remember, the third strategy is I am happy, I am confident, I am vibrating on a high frequency. Why? Just because. What if you're already here? What if you're already there? Like I said, that's you, that natural you, that real version of you. What if you're already here now? What if you are naturally happy, naturally confident, naturally vibrating at a high frequency? But because of social conditioning, because of traumatic experiences, when we think of trauma, we think of, PTSD. We think of people who have gone to war and come back. Guys, when you're a kid, I'll actually show you guys a visual here on the next slide. But because of, social conditioning, trauma, all these different things that happen to you, you believe that you're operating down here. But if you're able to just let this stuff go, then automatically you just go back to where you're supposed to be. This is Chris Terry's signature talk. If you've ever seen Chris Terry, the CEO of our company, speak, he's always talking about letting go. And he calls it your energetic inflammation is what he calls it. He says that inflammation is the root of most disease physically, right? But same thing energetically. So if you're able to just, you're already up here, but because of, certain things that have happened into your life, yes, you might have that energetic inflammation that has brought you down here. But if you just let that stuff go, then automatically you're operating on that frequency that you need to be on to attract whatever it is that you want, to take the action without having this split within. I'll explain that here in a minute. But that is what you got to realize. It's about letting stuff go. This is my beautiful drawing. I drew this myself. Okay. So you have the conscious mind, what you're aware of right now. You're aware of me speaking right now. You're taking notes right now. You're on the Zoom call right now. You're aware of that stuff right now. And then you have the subconscious mind. This is 95%. Now, we operate, our mind is like a computer program. We think 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. 95% of them are the same from the day before. What does that mean? That means that we wake up, we think the same thoughts, we take the same action, we get the same results, and we're secretly wishing for something to change. Have you guys ever done something and you're like, I know I shouldn't be doing that, and then you do it anyways, or vice versa? You really want to do something. I should prospect that person. I should present to that person. I should do this. I should do that, but you just can't do it. There's something inside of you that's literally holding you back. Drop a 111 in the chat if you've ever known that you should be doing something, and for some reason there was something internally that literally just could not let you do it. That's that energetic inflammation that we're talking about. So when you are born, your subconscious mind is wide open. And it cannot reject, it must accept whatever's put into your mind. And so they say that by the age of 5, that your self-image is formed through social conditioning, through your parents, through your teachers, through your family, through your friends. And as a kid, you have a very limited perspective. So when we think of trauma, like I said, we think about PTSD, we think about people who've gone to war. Let's say that you were in a grocery store as a kid and you were extremely loud and your parents freaked out on you and said, hey, yo, like, be quiet, right? And you as a kid with your limited perspective understood it as, oh, my parents don't love me. And if my parents don't love me, they might abandon me. And if they abandon me, then guess what? I might die. So what do? That sounds dramatic, but that's literally, that's how it works when you are a kid. So what happens is you take this part of you that's loud and you disown it. And that's why you see some people that are very, very, very quiet and they're afraid. They have this irrational fear of being loud. Nothing bad's going to actually happen to you if you're loud, but you have this, you literally feel as if you're going to die. Same thing with presenting. People say, and I've experienced this myself. When I first started presenting, I literally felt like my heart beating fast, like as if I was going to die. Because, because back then, like I said, as a kid, it is, you think that it's threatening your survival. And so you just bottle it up, put it in the corner of your mind and suppress it and disown it. And so this red line, this red area, that is that energetic, that represents that energetic inflammation that is in your mind. And it creates this split within. So maybe you want to be healthy and you know what you should be doing, but you're not doing it. Maybe you want to make more money and you know you should be prospecting. You know you should be on the training calls. You know you should be plugged in to the DCX free trial. You know you should be getting guests there, but you're just not doing it because consciously you know what you should be doing. Subconsciously, you have this program that's running you. So what letting go is tuning in to that energetic inflammation and just letting go of it. So now you don't have this split and you could just do what you know you should be doing. You could think of your mind as like a computer. So let's say that you have a computer that's running very slow because like there's different viruses that are running on the computer. And so we think that if we just keep installing new software onto the computer, that eventually it'll get rid of the virus. But guess what? It doesn't work. Let me ask you guys a question. What does antivirus software do? Drop in the chat if you know. What's the purpose of antivirus software? Preventative, yes. I'm assuming that you guys just don't know the answer. So the antivirus software, what happens is it will detect and remove the virus from the computer. And now the computer automatically will be operating at high speeds again. Now you will be vibrating at a high frequency again. You'll be able to attract what you need to attract again. You'll be able to take that action and there won't be this split within, right? Let me move this. Hold on. Why is this not? 1 second. Okay. So most people take the external approach. They are trying to change how they feel with everything externally. So let me give you an example. Example is people go to convention. People go to I'm United. They're excited. They're screaming chairman at the top of their lungs. And then 3 days from then, after the event, 1 week from then, one month from them, 1 month from the event, they're literally back in the exact same mindset that they were in before the event, because the event is something that is external to them. And there's nothing wrong with the external approach. This is actually great and it does help. However, if you don't address the internal things, the internal issues, that internal, that energetic inflammation, then guess what? You're always going to be operating on the same frequency. What did I say earlier? I said, wherever you go, there you are. You could attend whatever event that you want. You could have as much as you want. You could do as much as you want, but wherever you go, there you are. All journeys outward. This is a quote from A Course in Miracles. It's one of my favorite books. It says, all journeys outward eventually lead to the journey inward. Eventually, you got to realize that you got to address that stuff inside. So we got to let go of anything and everything that is not serving us. There are 4 ways that we handle feelings. So number 1 is suppression/repression. So suppression is consciously, repression is the same thing, but unconsciously. And this is where you bottle up your feelings and stuff them into the corner of your mind because we don't know how to deal with them. So we just want to avoid them. But the emotions are actually seeking an outlet. So if you don't actually let them go, what'll happen? Hold on, guys. I'm just moving the chat box really quick. If you actually don't let them go, it will the emotions are seeking an outlet. So if you do not let them go, it will affect your physical health and your mental health, right? I'll give you an example. An example is if you suppress things for too long, what will happen is it leads to projection. Projection is, this happened to me yesterday, where there was something that was, really bothering me, that I did not let go of. And I had a conversation with somebody later that evening that said something that really wasn't a big deal. And then boom, you just erupt on that person like a volcano. Why? Because you were suppressing stuff. You were repressing stuff. That's what happens when you suppress and when you repress. Now, number 2 is expression. People think that the opposite of suppression is expression, and that is not necessarily the case. However, there's a time and place for it. The feeling is vented and verbalized. So with expression, when you express something, you actually give that feeling, you build it up and you give it a greater energy, number 1. And you let just enough out for the remainder to typically be suppressed. On top of that, if we dump our negative feelings onto others, oftentimes what will happen is they experience it as an attack, and we literally pass our energetic inflammation to them. And now they have to figure out how to let it go. And this results in deterioration and destruction of relationships. Expression. Number 3 is escape. This is the avoidance of feelings through diversion. This is the backbone of the entertainment industry, right? Watching movies all the time, playing video games all the time, watching Netflix all the time. And don't get me wrong, there's a time and place to do those things. But if you're using it to escape for too long, it'll eat you up inside. And then there's drugs, all types of drugs, alcohol, whatever it is. And then, like I said, being a workaholic, that's a form of escapism as well. Now, it takes a lot of energy to keep down the growing pressure of the suppressed and repressed feelings. And what happens is if you do it for too long through escaping, this results in, number one, a loss of awareness. Number two, a loss of growth. Number three, a loss of energy. And number four, a loss of real interest in others. And it's hard to connect with other people. And like I said earlier, it leads to the development of physical and emotional illness. And then last but not least, we have letting go. When you let go of a feeling, the energy behind the feeling is instantly surrendered, and the effect is decompression. We immediately feel better. There's improvements in our body, our physiology. There's an increase in muscle power. You actually get stronger. Our perception of the world and ourselves changes for the better. We feel happier. We feel more loving and more easygoing. And there is a state of inner freedom. That's what happens when we let go. What is letting go? Letting go is like the sudden cessation of an inner pressure or the dropping of a weight. It is accompanied by a sudden feeling of relief and lightness with an increased happiness and freedom. It's an actual mechanism of the mind, meaning that it's not something that we're used to, but it's something that once you learn, anybody can do. You can let go consciously and frequently at will. What does that mean? What that means is you can control how you feel. And the surrendered state is to be free of negative feelings in a given area so that creativity and spontaneity can manifest without inner conflict. Most of this information that I'm giving you guys came from a book called Letting Go by David R. Hawkins. And there's a quote in there. It says, letting go involves being aware of a feeling, letting it come up, staying with it, letting it run its course without wanting to make it different or do anything different about it. Now, some people argue that letting go is a not the best choice of words to describe what actually happens when you let go. So another way to think about letting go is accepting and embracing. This is one of my favorite quotes in the world. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you into something else is the world's greatest accomplishment. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Think about all the things that you could accomplish in the world. Ralph Waldo Emerson, he said, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you into something else is the world's greatest accomplishment. Can you accept yourself? Can you embrace yourself? Can you love yourself with your flaws while you're going through the process, while you're, still in the journey right here and right now? I remember Brandon Thompson at the I Am United convention. He said, true freedom is being unapologetically you every single day. That's true freedom. So another word for letting go is forgiveness. I'm an amateur in the Bible, but this is one of my favorite verses, Mark 11:24. I tell you, you can pray for anything, and if you believe you've received it, it will be yours. But when you are praying, first forgive anyone you're holding a grudge against, so that your Father in heaven will forgive you for your sins too. You can have anything that you want if first you forgive. Maybe somebody did you wrong. Maybe somebody did the worst thing that you could possibly think of to you a year ago, a decade ago, and you're still holding on to that energetic inflammation, and you have not made that decision to let it go. When you forgive, that doesn't make it what they did okay. That doesn't mean you condone that type of activity. What it means is it's in the past, it's gone, and you're not going to allow that energy to, you're going to let the energy behind that experience go and just use it to just move on. Forgiveness, forgiving other people, but also guess what? You have to forgive yourself. For me, guys, I am a perfectionist, which is, I guess it can be a good thing because when I do something, I want to be the best. But guess what? It's also a bad thing because if I do so, I could do almost perfect. And then if I'll focus on the thing that I did wrong. I'll beat myself up. Can you forgive yourself? Guess what, guys? We are human beings. Human beings do some, excuse my language, do some fucked up shit, right? So chances are you've probably made some big mistakes in the past and you have not let it go. If you cannot make peace with your past, here's what happens. Most people are anticipating a worst case scenario in the future based off of a negative experience in the past. So if you cannot let go of the past, then that's going to affect you in the present, which is going to recreate those same experiences in the future. So you have to forgive, you have to forget. We need to sharpen our forgiving skills for ourselves and for others. It doesn't matter how bad it was, whatever somebody did to you or whatever you did to somebody else. It's in the past, it's gone, it's done. Moving forward from this day on, you're never going to worry about it again. You're going to let it go, guys. Drop a let it go in the chat box. Drop a let it go in the chat box if y'all are with me. So maybe you see the value in it, but how do you do it? There's 3 steps. Number 1 is you have to be aware of what it is that you want to let go of. What do you need to let go of? Most people, that energetic inflammation is so far deep into the recesses of your subconscious mind that you don't even know that it's there. And guess what? You have to know the enemy to defeat the enemy. So I'm going to actually skip forward a slide. Here are some things that we need to let go of. I call these the 4 false gods that people worship: fear, approval, control, security. Fear of being alone, fear of not being enough, fear of not living up to your potential, fear of being a bad person. Approval, validation, recognition. How does this run you? The approval for other people. How does the approval for other people, how does approval run you in your daily life? Getting you to act a certain way, walk a certain way, talk a certain way, dress a certain way. Aren't you sick and tired of having to prove yourself 24/7, 365? And can you just approve your own self? Control. This is something that I'm working on. I was a control freak. I tried to control everything and anything that I could control. And so I learned this concept from Leanne, and she talks about the control circle. You make a circle, and in the circle is everything that you can control, and outside of the circle is everything that you can't control. Guess what? There's only 2 things that you can control. You can control your attitude and your work ethic. That's it. Anything that's outside of your control, if you're worrying about that, that's wasted energy that you could be using to create a new future. And that's why you're going nowhere fast, because you're so focused on things that are outside of your control. Exactly. Don't worry about shit you can't control. Why would you worry about something that's out of your control? But we do it every single day. And then security. It's so funny because we just want this safety. We just want this security. Let me tell you guys a secret. There's 126 people on this call. I have a secret for you guys. Every single one of us eventually is going to die. Death is one of the greatest inventions of life, because when you realize that we're going to die, you end up taking risks. You end up living your life to the fullest. You end up realizing that who gives a shit about what other people think? So we need to, number 1, be aware of what is it that we want to let go of. Number 2, we need to experience it fully. And then number 3, we need to let it come up and come out. When I talk about experience it fully, most people are trying to change how they feel. They're trying to control how they feel. They're trying to resist how they feel. Guess what? Whatever you resist persists. So instead, when you're feeling those, feeling certain types of emotions that you don't want to feel, what you really want to do is, if you resist it, you'll actually reinforce it. You want to actually just relax into it, and it'll naturally come up and come out. And when surrender happens, there's an immediate lighter and happier free feeling. Like I said, I'm going to give you guys after this a guided meditation that I actually do every single day that's helped me a lot when it comes to letting go. Write this down. Action, trigger, release, repeat. Action. Letting go, you don't just, sit at home and not do anything. It's not, letting go is active. It's not passive, right? You're still doing things that are going to put you in an uncomfortable position purposely. So guess what? You get triggered. What's getting triggered? Getting triggered is when your response is disproportionate to reality. Like when you want to present and you feel like you're going to die, like I said earlier, or when you're going to, when you want to maybe prospect somebody or talk to somebody and literally like your heart starts beating like crazy, your response is disproportionate to reality. Being triggered is not a bad thing. It's a great thing because it's an opportunity to actually let it go. So if I ever get triggered, I used to resist it, and whatever you resist persists, or whatever you resist persists. So now if it ever happens to me, I'm actually happy that it happens to me. I just let it go and move on. So action, trigger, release, you let it go, and then repeat these 4 steps over and over and over and over and over and over again until suddenly, eventually, you don't have this. You reduce that emotional, that energetic inflammation. Now, when you are, everybody has an emotional home. So the whole point of letting go is to actually move up, on the levels of energy, on the levels of transformation. If you want to learn more about this, you can, this is also in the book, Letting Go. And David Hawkins talks about the map of consciousness. And this is scientifically proven that these energies, these emotions are operating on a certain frequency. And so everybody has an emotional home. It's where you spend most of the time, but there's different pockets as well. So maybe that, so exactly. Yeah. John talked about this at the convention. You're correct. So there's different pockets, meaning you might be, operating on a high frequency in business and then at a lower frequency in your relationship. So you have a general home, emotional home, and a place that you typically return to. And then you have different pockets as well. And so what you want to really do is you want to identify, hey, where is it that I'm at right now? And then you want to shoot for the next level. You see, the problem is most people try to shoot too high. So you might be in apathy right now. Apathy is a sense of hopelessness. It's a sense of, like, what's the point of even doing this anymore? It's a sense of depression, right? That's apathy. And if you're trying to go straight to love, guess what? You're going to shoot straight back down to apathy. So you want to just shoot, you want to ask yourself, what level do I identify with myself the most right now? And how can I get to that next level? And then eventually the next level, and then eventually the next level, so on and so forth. So let's talk about each level. Apathy is hopelessness. Like I said, I just kind of described it. And by the way, guys, how many of you guys have ever, drop a yes in the chat if you guys have ever heard seemingly contradicting advice? Right? You've heard one mentor say one thing and then another mentor say another thing. And you got confused. The reason why you got confused is because you didn't have a map. Because what's good advice to somebody who's not, if someone's not working hard and I tell them that they should grind, that's good advice. But for somebody like myself, like I told you how hard I was working, telling me to work harder, that's terrible advice. Same thing with the levels of transformation. So there's different advice, there's different tools to help you level up from each level. Let me give you an example. You would think that telling people that they're a victim is terrible advice. 99% of the time, you're going to hear me tell people, hey, take responsibility for your life. Take responsibility for your future. No one's coming here to save you. No one's coming here to save me. I say that all the time. But for someone who's in apathy, for someone who's absolutely hopeless, it's actually helpful. It's actually empowering to tell them that it's not their fault. Hey, it's not your fault. Hey, you've had this happen to you. Hey, you've had that happen to you. And that's why you are where you are. And then guess what? There's that feeling of empowerment. They have that, hey, it's not my fault. Then boom, they bump up from apathy to grief. Now, grief is classified as, deep sorrow associated with the word mournful and self-pity. And if you stay there too long, guess what? It'll eat you up inside. So now at this point, if someone's being has self-pity for too long, that's a good time to say, hey, let's take responsibility for your life. And then boom, maybe you shoot up to fear. Now, the energy of fear sees danger everywhere. Everything that they see is a threat, right? They see prospects as a threat, people who are going to, shut them down. They see presentations as a threat. Hey, what are these people going to think about me? They see everything as a threat. And so what do you do to someone who's in fear? You say, you want to shoot them up to that next level, right? So what would I say? I would say something along the lines of, yo, doesn't it piss you off that you're living in fear all the time? Doesn't it piss you off that you aren't living the life that you want to live? And then boom, they shoot up to anger. Anger is pretty self-explanatory. A lot of people use anger for motivation. They want to prove people wrong. And is anger a good thing, or is it a bad thing? Answer is, it depends on where you are. If you're in the fear or grief stage, anger is actually a great thing. If you're in the courage, desire, purpose, or love, anger is obviously not a good thing. So when you're working with people, you need to start to figure out where these people are so you can help them level up, because that's what we're doing. This academy, what we're doing is we're building up people. People are so focused on building the business. If you build the people, guess what? People will by default build the business. Anger. Now, courage, this is important because courage marks the critical point from the shift of negative energy to positive energy. When I think of courage, I think of, I can do this. I think of, hey, I'm going to start taking action. That's courage. And maybe you take some action, get some results, and then now you're in that desire level. You have that strong feeling of wanting something to happen, right? Wanting more money, wanting more, wanting more nice things, wanting more approval, wanting to be able to travel more, desire. And then the goal is to, as you continue to let go, guess what? Then you move to purpose. I feel like I'm operating in my purpose right now. Purpose is when you're dedicated to a cause that is bigger than you. Now, for me, I don't feel like I'm moving out of desperation. I feel like I'm moving out of inspiration. I'm inspired to hop on these calls. I'm inspired to help other people. I'm inspired to see the paradigm shifts. And don't get me wrong, if you have some things that are, motivating you negatively, whatever motivates you, and there's not a good or bad. It's just, where is it that you are right now and how can you get to that next level? And then boom, you have love. Love is full acceptance of yourself, full acceptance of others. It's that unconditional love. If you want to know where John and myself actually got the 8 levels of transformation, here's a 13-minute video on YouTube so you can learn about it some more. These, like I said, this diagram is, something that is scientifically proven. Now, how does this apply to real life? Let's say that your car is parked, or let's say that I'm going to downtown Seattle. I'm going to, go to downtown Seattle. I parallel park my car, and the person in front of me, after I park, backs into my car, and now boom, both of our cars are dented. Now, I'm going to give you an example of how people would react who are in these different levels of energy. I want you guys to understand something. You don't see with your eyes, you see with your brain. How can two people look at the exact same thing and see something completely different? Answers, because you don't see with your eyes, you see with your brain. That you have your vision is actually colored by the experiences of your past. And so if I'm somebody who's in apathy and this happens to me, I'm going to be like, oh, wow, things like this always happen to me. My life sucks. I'm not surprised. Apathy. If I'm somebody who's in grief, the exact same experience that happened to the same person in apathy, I might be thinking, hey, now my car is ruined. It's never going to be the same. I'm probably going to lose a lot of money on this. Fear. This guy's probably mad. I'm scared to talk to this guy. He's probably going to sue me. I'm fearful. Anger. This guy's an idiot. I'm going to sue this guy. I'm going to kill this guy. Anger. Courage. Oh, well, we both have insurance. This is definitely inconvenient, but I can handle it. Desire. I can make money off this. I'm going to get a settlement on the highest estimate and get it fixed at a cheaper place. Desire. Purpose. I hope the other guy isn't too upset. Let me calm him down. Things like this happen. This happened to me about a year ago, and it actually all worked out for the better. Purpose. And then there is love. If you're operating in the frequency of love, you might have the exact same thing happen to you as the person in apathy. But when you're in love, here's how you experience that experience. And I wrote 8 different lenses because you could think of it as glasses on, right? You can think of people with the apathy glasses, and then as you move up, you have people with the grief glasses. They're seeing the same things in different ways. That's why I call it 8 different lenses. So with love, wow, isn't this fortunate? I was going to actually get the bumper fixed anyways, so now it's going to be for free. Hey, aren't you so-and-so's brother? I was actually just talking to so-and-so about crypto, and he was actually interested. And then boom, not only do is the car situation a good situation, but you actually make a business connection with the other person. And it all happened for a positive reason. And write this down, guys. It's not about what happens to you. It's about what you do about what happens to you. It's not about, most people react, but what you want to do is you want to respond. So these are the 8 different lenses. So this is an example of what would happen to you in a car accident, but you guys can imagine how this could affect you in your everyday life, whether you're operating at a lower level or at a higher level. So as you let go of certain emotions, of certain feelings, of certain states, of that energetic inflammation, you start moving up these levels, and you're going to start to have different things happen to you. As you start moving up levels, you're going to start to attract the people, the places, the things that you need in order to be successful, in order to be happy, in order to achieve your goals. And that's it. Last slide is, I would say, from this call to action is you want to identify what is it that you need to let go of. Figure that out. And then now when you figure that out, you can work on that every single day. Personally, I do a guided release meditation every single day. Sometimes I do it twice a day. Sometimes I do it 3 times a day. So if you want it, hit me up on Instagram. I'll shoot you a message. And then number 3, if you want to learn more about this, like I said, a lot of this content came from Letting Go by David Hawkins, and also A Course in Miracles Made Easy by Alan Cohen. And that, my friends, is the end of the call. So I appreciate you for hopping on for the last hour. And, I'm excited for you guys, because once you know how to let go, I'm telling you guys, automatically you can go from where you are to where it is that you want to go. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Love you guys. If you have any questions, hit me up on Instagram. Have an amazing rest of your guys' night, and I will talk to you all soon. Peace.